Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Lori with Simple Suburban Homestead. I've been kind of not making as many videos lately, just because we've been really busy. We've had family in from out of town. Yesterday was Easter. I did put up a couple shorts, but nothing major. I did want to share with you guys a little bit about what's going on my little homestead. I want to thank you for joining me and subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. Like and share any of my videos that you wish, and it kind of puts me out there more, and I appreciate that as well. With my quail, we had a little bit of an accident Wednesday night. Tuesday, I've been out here feeding and watering, and everybody's happy and doing well. And I have been out here and I noticed one of my quail, my top cage is very friendly. They love to be handled. They don't mind being touched, which is kind of different for quail. Some quail don't mind being touched. Some quail don't want anything to do with humans. But these guys, I think they know the hand that feeds them, and they're grateful to see us. And so anyhow, I have this beautiful quail, and she was letting me play with her, and I'd move my hand and she would come and put her little head between my fingers, so I'd rub her back. And I thought, wow, she's just really, really sweet. And that was a little unusual, but like I said, many of these are really sweet. So anyway, Wednesday we went to church and we came home from church, and she was laying in the pen. She was alive and awake, but she was laying. So I reached in to pet her and she did not stand up. And I thought, well, that's unusual. So, especially for a quail, they're not like chickens. My chickens will get up in your lap and sit and let you pet them and rub under their wings. Quail, not so much. So anyhow, I picked her up and I stood her up, and she took a couple steps and she fell. And when she fell, some of the other quail just walked right over her, and she didn't get back up, and she kind of fell on her side a little bit. So I got her out, and her vent was completely covered with poo. And so I said, let's get a warm container with some Epsom salts water. And they say to do this a lot of times if you have a prolapsed vent, or if you're egg bound and your chickens or your quail, and the Epsom salts helps to relax them, and a lot of times they'll pass their eggs. If you ever get a bird that is egg bound, never ever try to remove that egg yourself. Never try to manipulate that egg, because if you crack it inside of that hen, she is going to die. She's going to get an infection and she's going to die. So the best thing to do is to feel her without putting pressure on her, and to soak her and to see if her body will relax and she can pass the egg herself. Well, after we got her into the water, we realized that she was about this wide right above her vent. So we went ahead and soaked her for about 20 minutes, and she wasn't doing anything. Matter of fact, she had her eyes shut most of the time, which is a huge indication in quails that they're hurting. If you have a quail that's injured and their eyes are shut for the majority of time, they're hurting really, really bad. And at that point, my husband said, I'm going to go ahead and take her out back. So he took her out back, and he cold her. And after he did, the kids and I took her out under the garage lights. And after my husband cold her and cleaned her and everything, he had taken, we skinned them. And so everything had come off. Her vent, everything was out. It was just, we cleaned the carcass and we put her in the freezer. And we went outside and we dissected it. And there were 2 eggs. There was an egg about this big, I don't know if you can see that, about that big, and it was hard as a rock. And then there was another egg. Instead of being in the chute, it was beside it. And it was a huge egg. So she was basically completely impacted with poo, and her eggs were completely blocking her vent. So I'm glad we didn't let her suffer. She most certainly would have died. My husband said that when he tipped her upside down to cold her, that she had fluid that came out of her mouth, which means she was already in the process. Her body was shutting down. So sadly, we lost a hen. Her meat looked beautiful. We were able to clean her nicely, put her in the freezer so she won't go to waste. So that was one of the things. And one of the other things that happened this week was I have 2 incubators that I have set up. One of them I had 20 eggs in, and I did not candle those eggs around day 5 like I normally do. I was busy with everything going on with people in from out of town. So I didn't candle those, and I figured I'd candle them on lockdown. We locked that incubator down, and the day of lockdown when I did candle, I only had 4 fertile eggs out of 20 eggs. So at first I thought maybe something had gone wrong with my incubator. And then after thinking about it, what I could see was a completely transparent or translucent egg with a dark spot. And the dark spot made me think maybe they had started to develop and then something went wrong. However, I believe that dark spot was just the yolk because they had been in the incubator for the entire 14 days at that point. And we only ended up with 3 chicks out of 4 eggs. So that was kind of disturbing. Those were eggs that I had purchased from a buddy, and his were fairly new layers. His brood were fairly new, and with the time of the year, you never know. He said he hadn't been hearing a lot of crowing, so you really don't know what you're going to get. And so I just think they were not fertile. So we have our own eggs in the incubator now because my big girls are ready to rock and roll. Everybody's been laying now for a good 2 weeks, and they're doing great. I do want to show you all the size eggs that I'm getting from some of my jumbos. Look, these are from the same batch of hens. Hopefully you can see that. We are getting so many of these huge eggs. And these have been double yolkers. So I'm really hoping that they will hurry up and stabilize because this cannot be good and comfortable for them to be passing all the time. This is the same jumbo hens as well. And that's a smaller egg. And that's the same batch of hens. So we need them to quit laying these. These are beautiful in the refrigerator, but we need them to calm down a little bit so that they don't hurt themselves. Unless that's going to be, I've never raised jumbos, so maybe that's a normal size egg for them. But their little bodies aren't much bigger than my standards, and their eggs are double the size. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of catch you guys up on that. I'm going to make a video later on of my plants out back. Nothing's making any fruit yet, but everything's growing great. We did have some issues with some stuff chewing at the stems, and so they might not look the greatest, but hey, for living in a neighborhood, we're doing the best we can. And I believe this weekend we're going to be processing meat birds, but I'll bring you guys a video later of the meat birds and how big they're getting. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter. Thank you again for tuning into my channel, and I will bring you more content as soon as I can. Thanks again, guys, and God bless.